a plasterboard wall. Now, loads of houses have plasterboard walls, especially these days. But how the hell do you screw your stuff to the plasterboard wall? Well, allow me to show you a few different options, you see. Wow. Now, let's say, for instance, option one was to just try and screw directly into the plasterboard wall. Let's give it a go, shall we? See what happens. Okay. All right, okay. Oh, that's all right, you know, picture on that, maybe. But not much else, no. Because it'll just keep spinning in the plasterboard. Because the plasterboard itself is not designed to be screwed, it don't want to come out now, it's going to be screwed into. No. But let's say, for instance, you want to get that out. All right, let's put that behind there. All right, and just pull that out of there. Okay, that's all right. Scrub that one. Don't try and screw directly into your plasterboard unless you can find a stud behind. So what other options have you got? Oh, well, you got to say to me, why can't you just use a raw plug, like one of them red ones? You know, one of them red raw plugs. Check that now. Well, you could. All right, let's try it, shall we? All right, let's give it a go. You see, this is a raw plug for brick, not plasterboard. But, you know, if you insist, let's drill a hole. Let's place the plug into the hole, okay? So, all right. Now, there's a fundamental problem here. The plasterboard is 12.5 or half inch, 12.5 millimetres thick, okay? The raw plug, all right, from that little expanding area here is around, well, it starts at around 10 millimetres. From there, if you look, can you see that? All right. Well, that means that bit don't expand. That bit's the bit that displays. And the plasterboard's not thick enough. So, let's try it anyway. Let's place the screw into the red raw plug and see what happens. All right, there we go. Oh, yeah, sort of working, but not very well at all. It's basically just spun inside because, well, I'll tell you what, let me show you in this piece of plasterboard. That might be a better idea. Let's place one in this piece of plasterboard just so you can see what happens at the back, right, on the other side of the plasterboard. There is our red raw plug, all right? I'm not editing this video, so what you see is what you get, all right? Right, we'll place the screw in, right, into here, right, and I'll allow you to see the back of it. Give you an idea what's going on. All right, so the screw is just into the plasterboard at the moment, and it's about to poke through. There you go, you see it splay, all right? You think yourself, that's good enough, all right? But when you get to the shank of the screw, especially if you've got a wood screw with with no threads near the head of the screw, but then you've got an issue. It's going to spin anyway. There's nothing to be there. That ain't going to do anything. There's no load capacity on that whatsoever. So if I grab my little levery thing here, right? It's actually for fixing it actually, but let's give it a go. Let's put that behind there like so, and lever that and see what happens. Well, you see, it just pulls straight out. All right? There's no welly there whatsoever. It's got no strength. So a whole lot, is it? No. So you need to look for a different option. You see, these are raw plugs for concrete, for brick, for the mortar joint or stuff like that. You see, and they expand in their entire length. Like these ones here require a drill, the red ones, 5.5 millimetres. If you're drilling into, let's say, for instance, thermalite block, which is soft, or you get away with 6 millimetres if you're drilling into a hard material, such as stone or brick or something like that. You know, but then you get onto the brown ones here. These require a 7 millimetre hole, right? Obviously for bigger screws. In this case, these do 10s, 12s, and 14s. I don't recommend the 14s because they tend to spin around in a hole. They're not really man enough for it, to be honest. But these expand in their length. They're there for compression inside a hole. They're not designed for plasterboard. Same with these the blue ones, which happen to be designed for use with a 10 millimetre hole. You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to shove your TV on that with one of these? But then, quite frankly, you lost your flippin' mind. You really had. Spent thousands of quid on a flippin' flat screen TV, you know. And then you can rely on the plasterboard to hold it on the wall. And then you wonder why it falls on the floor. Oh, God, it takes all sorts, I suppose. So, no, the blues, the reds, or the browns are not designed for plasterboard. No, you need to find a stud, ideally. But let's say, for instance, you can't, all right? There are other options for plasterboard. such as these. This is a self-tapping plasterboard fixer, and this happens to be the plastic version. Don't recommend the plastic ones. They do a metal version as well, which I did have one here, and it's disappeared. It probably fell on the floor, isn't it? That's what usually happens when they're making videos. Things fall on the floor. Is it there? No. Is it there? No, 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 no. Anyway, there's a metal version of this, which does actually work much, much better. Well, after my demonstration, I'll probably find it. So, basically, what it does is it self-taps into the plasterboard. And you can use, with the plastic ones, you can use an ordinary screw. With the metal ones, you have a special screw. It's a self-tapping screw that goes into, because obviously, you know, wood screw doesn't really screw into metal very well, does it? So these are supposed to be able to just, you know, self-tap into the plasterboard. Just take your time, though, because what will happen is that they'll just literally just twist up on themselves and they fall to pieces. So we just place it in there like that. And what happens is that Archimedes screw there will literally drill its way. When you get to this stage, you better do it with a hand screwdriver, actually. You know, and just pull it in there like so. Okay, well, that is now in its hole, all right? But the problem with these sort of things, you're still relying on a very small surface area. Now, that might be all right for, I don't know, light loads and what have you. Maybe a couple of kilo or something like that. But anything more than that, you're relying on literally, well, those threads grabbing into that plasterboard. It ain't very good. No, you know, but you sometimes you can actually, you put your screw and you tighten it all up. Sometimes that actual self-tapping anchor there will just let you spin in its hole if you're not careful. You know, that's barely biting anyway. So they're not brilliant either. No. So none of the solutions aren't really a good solution if you're just literally trying to fix directly into the plasterboard without anything behind. Find an organ or put one in if you have to. Ideally, right, but there are other options. There are other angles. There's quite a lot of different ones, actually, to be fair. We have these little plaster plug ones here, right? These are quite common. You basically got to drill a hole. You squeeze that in on the sides. You push it into the hole. Argument's sake, I reckon that probably go into that hole there. But yeah, probably push that into there, like so. All right, there it goes. Oh, it's a bit hard. So grab yourself a little hammer. Don't go too heavy, so tap that in like so. And as you see on the back here, it'll go in there, and you hope that those two little wings will splay out and hold it in. It's, you know, it's a winged anchor of one description or another. So when you put your screw in, which we're about to do, those little wings should pull up against the back of the plasterboard. Hopefully. Especially if I put the screw right way around. It don't drop on the floor. Oh, there, I blame the carpal tunnel. That's what I do. Right, in it goes, and it should splay. As I tighten this up, the screw is now going into the second part of the actual anchor, and as it goes and then tightens up, and if you see that, it will spread, it will splay on the back of the anchor. See that? There you go. All right, they're okay for light loads. I wouldn't put anything too heavy on those either, but as you can see, they give you a reasonable anchor. For that type of anchor, it's probably as good as you're going to get, but there is another option as well. All right, we'll get to that one in just a second. All right, downside with a lot of these things, if you want to try and screw anything to the wall flush, they're always proud. That one's proud. That one's proud. The metal one's proud. They're all proud, you know, which makes them a little bit untidy. You can't get your thing hard up against the wall. Let's say if you go hang something up, put a hook on it or something like that, maybe it'll be okay. As long as it's only light loads. Remember, this is plasterboard, all right? This stuff is weak. It has very little strength in it. Look, it's 2 layers of flipping paper, all right, with plaster, gypsum plaster in the middle. It ain't strong, is it? No. And you're expecting that to hold your TV? yeah, you're flipping mind. There you are. Well, so, another option, all right? I'll get that one out later. Or can I get that out now? Oh, it's coming out. All right. The other option is one of these winged hangers. And you get these in all different shapes and sizes. Big ones, little ones. Now, I'll tell you where some of these hangers are quite good. Like, for instance, these ones, this is also a similar sort of thing, is in the hollow blocks. These work quite well, because basically you'll end up with about 15 mil of actual concrete, and then you've got a void. So as you place that into there, this expansion bit goes into the void of the concrete block, and they work quite well for that. Not that great for plasterboard. We might give that a go in the moment. Actually, we'll give it a go now, shall we? What size hole do I need for that? We're going to need, I don't know, I'm going to say probably 10 mil hole. Let's grab a 10 mil drill. Let's see what happens. Remember, this is only 12.5 millimeters thick. Got a big screw for that, haven't I? Got to have a big screw. Oh dear. Right. Now these ones have got little jagged edges on. Notice I don't think these are designed for plasterboard. And besides, if you need an anchor, right, that flippin' big in plasterboard, you really need to think of what you're hanging on at. You know? And can the plasterboard itself hold it? So then what you do is you grab yourself a screw, for instance. Oh, this one might do it. It says from 10s. Do a 10? Yeah, it does a 10. So then that can go into there. No, that's not going to do it. Oh no, that's 12, 14, 16s there, aren't they? Those big old things are. So I have got a big ass screw here. It's not going to pull it up though, because it's too flipping long. So what you do is you push it in there like so, and then that should splay on the back. But equally, it should also, it won't do it at the moment because the screw's too long, and I've got the wrong screwdriver bit. Well, that's not. It's not. I just got twisting the plasterboard anyway, so that's no blinking good. That ain't going to work either. Like I say, it's not. They're not designed for that. So you've got to pick the right. You know, if you've got a whole bunch of flipping anchors and what have you, think, oh, that'll do. No, they won't. You need the right ones. Now these things are pretty good. These anchors, right, and they require. Well, in this case, this one you can get away with an 8mm hole. This one, I'll probably just tap that into there. That'll probably do the trick. If you look at the designer, it's a bolt, right, which splays the wings. You're not relying on the screw that you're using, which could potentially just twist. And also, you have a special little tool, right? So it goes through there like so, all right? And now we've got to compress this area on the back here, which then splays the actual bit. But the actual splays the actual metal wings. And thing is, you need to be aware though. Once you've got it in situ, you're not, without making a hole in the wall, you're not going to get it off. No, you're not going to do it. Give it a go, but you make a nasty mess, you will. So you've got to bear this in mind. But it comes with a special tool, right, like this one, all right? There's also another tool you can use as well, which is a bit like a horseshoe that sits behind the screw, and then you use your screwdriver, and that'll pull it too. Well, that's another way you can do it. You can sometimes actually do it without even anything at all, but then you've got a risk of this bit here could then spin inside the plasterboard, which isn't ideal. But let's have a look at the back. What happens to the back? So you place this behind the actual screw of the anchor, just like a little bolt. So you've got to allow, get enough room on there so you get it behind. So it's now behind that bolt. And on the back, as you squeeze it, put it in this hole, it will pull that anchor tight to the back of the plasterboard. This is probably one of the best ideas, this sort of thing is. As you see, it splays it on the back, like so. You can see what it's done to the plasterboard. It's even pulled it into the plasterboard. You don't really want that. You don't really want to damage. You can't see what's going on though, so how do you know? Because it's in the wall. But you don't really want to damage the actual plasterboard paper on the back, because that's part of the strength of the actual plasterboard. You're at risk of pulling this thing through. But saying that, that is most definitely the best anchor by far. The only problem with that is these bolts aren't going to be compatible with whatever with everything that you may want to place on the wall. Again, it's not any good for a television or anything like that. The reason I bring up TVs is because my father-in-law helped my daughter put up a TV in the UK. I wasn't there at the time. And he does these funny anchors into the plasterboard. And needless to say, the TV fell off the wall. Stupid man. Father-in-law, what do I expect? There you go. So effectively what you got here is you got this anchor splay on the back, screw on, like a little bolt on the front, and these do work quite well. They're probably one of your better options. Like I said, they're not compatible with everything. So the other option, so what we looked at? We looked at the bog standard raw plugs, which are not designed for plasterboard. They're no good for plasterboard. You can get away with them for light loads. But other than that, don't bother. Screwing directly into the plasterboard is just don't try it. It's silly. No, it just if it doesn't fail today, it will fail tomorrow. It will. And the other options we're seeing isn't really an option, as these expand smaller versions of these as well. But you see, anything that's plastic ain't gonna be very strong, you know, and you're very reliant on the screw being compatible with the anchor. So if you don't really, you know, you've got a lot of experience in it, you could, you know, make a mistake. Right, and then we have these ones here. It's another anchor. These work a little bit better with plasterboard, but yet again, this particular one's too big. You can't put big anchors into plasterboard and expect them to hold. Plasterboard, like I said, is flipping weak. Right? It's not much good for anything. Best thing you can do is put a hole in the wall, put a noggin in the wall, and make good the wall. And if you could be putting a TV on the wall, you're not going to see your flipping mess of your plasterboard repair. Anyway, I think plasterboard is fantastic stuff. It's very, very useful. But, you know, make sure you got something to actually secure your devices or pictures or whatever you want to put on the wall. You got to think about this before you actually get that far, you know. So you buy yourself something. Oh, no, we'll stick that on the wall. Oh, a lovely shelf. Yeah, we'll stick that on the wall. Just bear in mind, how the hell is the plasterboard going to hold whatever you put on it? You can do it, but you got to think. Like, yeah. Anyway, thanks for being nail the like button. That was a bit preemptive. Thanks for watching the video. You must come boot the old like button and maybe subscribe to the channel, a little bell icon, because then you get a warm fuzzy feeling in the pocket every time I upload another video. Anyway, it's time for me to go. So say toodaloo, you know, it's toodaloo.